as we all know, yesterday was Budget Day, the day where every Chancellor seems to love to pee off the entire country. Now, I'll go through what was said in a minute, but let's just say some people might be breathing a little sigh of relief, while others, well, they'll just be putting more pictures onto the dartboards, I'm sure. But anyway, there is a few takeaways and also some things she didn't actually say. It says that Rachel Reeves has focused her speech on reducing public spending rather than increasing taxes. Well, that does certainly make a change, doesn't it? She apparently seeks to balance Britain's finances. Well, let's face it, she hasn't done a very good job so far, has she? But apparently all this is an aid that says that the government faces the challenge of finding £5 billion in annual savings. Well, hang on, stop right there. I know exactly what they could do. And in fact, rather than getting £5 billion, they could get £11 billion. So what am I talking about then? Well, can anyone remember a little while ago where Ed Miliband wanted £11 billion, I think it was, to spend on overseas climate emergencies? And let's face it, charity begins at home. So therefore, Ed and the Labour Party actually, rather than doing all these cuts and things like that, how about you take that £11 billion and spend it in this country instead? And I don't want to hear any crap from them saying, oh, well, we've got to stick by our commitments, you know. The thing is, though, things do change, and therefore it surely is morally right that that money is spent over here. But let's just look at the budget quite briefly. Apparently, the Chancellor's trying to save £3.4 billion through major reforms, through personal independence payments, PIP, and universal credit. They also said no more tax rises. Yay! I'm guessing, though, that is briefly until the autumn statement. Admittedly, you know, I could be wrong. I mean, it has happened once. Oh, no, hang on. No, I think I was right about that too. But anyway, growth has been downgraded for 2025. That the OBR apparently halved this GPD growth forecast for the next year, down from 2% to 1%. And strangely, quite strangely actually in my opinion, the OBR seems to project that with the measures announced in the spring statement, it will lead to a surplus in the Treasury finances, with £6 billion forecast for 2027 to 2028 and £9 billion, free money I guess to do what the government wants, by 2029-2030. Presumably, I'm guessing this is because they're expecting to keep the fiscal drag that we're all stuck in, thereby clawing millions of people in to paying tax when they needn't be, and that is totally wrong in my opinion. And if that is indeed the case, then I'm sure Labour will be finding a lot out about that at the next election. Either that, of course, or maybe, just maybe, the OBR's on drugs. But anyway, that's not it though. Apparently growth boost from planning reforms that says new housing policies expected to raise GDP by 0.6% over the next decade. There'll be a house building surge, 1.3 million homes expected over 5 years, with construction hitting a 40-year high. And just who will go in those homes, though? That is my question. Could it be the mountain of future Labour voters, no doubt, coming over here from the safe country of France? Or will it be the people who have been waiting in the housing list for God knows how long until they get a place? And remember, some of these people are going to be young mothers and fathers, surely struggling by and waiting for their first home. £2.2 billion extra for defence, and additional funding confirmed to meet the 2.5% of GDP defence target. Perhaps, who knows, yeah, I could be wrong, but perhaps if helps Donald Trump work out a deal rather than constantly giving our tax money to Ukraine, perhaps we wouldn't need as much defence spending. But anyway, £400 million defence innovation fund backing new tech like drones and AI for the front line, civil service cunts and new voluntary exit schemes and AI tools to shrink the government. Well, let's face it, it's about time in my opinion that they, shall we say, drained the swamp, because let's face it, a lot of those civil servants, in my opinion, kind of held up Brexit and things like that when they should have been doing their jobs. But anyway, there's also that welfare shake-up that I mentioned earlier, which apparently target employment support and welfare reform to reduce benefit spending. But what didn't she mention? Well, the first thing is savers can all breathe a big sigh of relief, because she didn't mention anything at all about the ISA rules, the individual saving accounts allowances, which were rumoured to go down from £20,000 a year to £4,000. And remember, this is an account where you put money into it and the government can't tax your interest, which, if you've got a bit of money, that will surely become a relief to you. But it does say here that the spring statement documents clarified the government's intentions, stating future reforms aim to get the balance right between cash and equities to earn better returns for savers, boost the culture of retail investment and support the growth mission. So while no immediate changes, it says, have been made, the possibility of adjustments in the future has not been ruled out. And in other words, our wallets have got a massive kick in the gonads coming, but it's just going to be delayed a bit, no doubt, eh? Drinkers and pub landlords, it says, will be raising a glass to Rachel Reeves today. I wonder if that's to chuck a drink in her face. Probably not, I'm guessing, because she chose to leave alcohol taxes untouched in her spring statement. And it says, though, that decisions on alcohol duty will only happen in the autumn budget. So again, that's another thing which is surely going to be delayed. And much like drinkers, it says, smokers can also breathe a sigh of relief, as the Chancellor made no mention of increasing cigarette duties in her announcement. And I've got a feeling, I could be wrong admittedly, but I've got a feeling that will more than likely go up as well. And I don't know about you, but fuel duty also, there was no mention of that as far as I'm aware. Let's face it, going by Labour's history, since they came into power from July, they kind of have let power go to their heads, and maybe, just maybe, they realised that and are giving us a tiny break while working out their speeches to pee us off in September, October, November, whenever they decide to do the autumn budget. I've got a feeling that will more than likely be in September.